Welcome, 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 one and all. We are here again for round 3 of the AXR GTWEC, the GT World Endurance Championship. Racing, guys, and what a thrill we have had in this championship. This championship is loads of different sim racing teams out there have come together for a seven round championship, I believe it is. I'm not even on their Discord. Just check it out, you know. Right, there is info to tell you about things. I'll go to chat, see if there's anything else. And 7 minutes to go to qualifying. That was ages ago. I think we've now on qualifying. This could be qualifying. So here we are at Mount Panorama for the drama, commonly known as Bathurst. Excuse me, I'm trying to get to, there you go. He's reset the lobby, and that means that they'll have 10 minutes of qualifying from now. I'll just enter and mess around with all the settings because this game is so viewer friendly. There we go. And yeah, someone's on wet tyres. Robbo, do you know you're on wet tyres, bud? You do. You know this is Australia. Do they have rain in Australia? Does rain ever happen? Robbo's going to get a surprise when he goes around on his outlap. So I'll get to you. No, 6-round championship, sorry. We've got 3 more rounds after this one. I thought it was 7. That's because I'm trying to campaign for an extra round to be added, because I've only recently realised that they've got the original Barcelona track, the good Barcelona track, without the chicane that ruined it. So I wanted an extra round for us to see that. Right, they're all piling out now. Can someone tell Robbo it's concerning that his team's put him on a set of wet tyres and no one has informed him as such? And well, I don't know. Can he quit out and quit back in again during qualifying? I don't know what the rules are. So these guys, they're out on their warm-up lap now. They're out lap before trying to get themselves a good grid position, and this would be as good a time as any to tell you how the championship is looking. Has anyone seen Kevin or Caliber out there? Kevin, there we see, in the Subaru, just coming out of the pits. And yeah, we've heard there's a bit of an issue coming out of the pits. The car can't handle, the AI can't handle the auto drive, and they want to crash every time. But there we see the Belgium, Kevin, smashing it great. And he is driving for SBM, featuring SOE, and they're car number 50. They're at the top of the table on 73 points. So a great showing from that pairing of Caliber and Kevin. Caliber, I don't think's lost a race yet. I think he's won everything. He's the first 2 rounds that he's taken part in. Yes, it's a 3-hour race. We're doing an hour-and-a-half race here, this stint, and then I believe it was Stig taking over from the comms, and these guys, their teammates, will be taking over to finish off the other hour and a half, adding up to a 3-hour race. There you go, Kev, getting very shady over the top there of the mountain, and we've got full damage now. In the last update, it seems that PD, in all their might and cleverness, have fixed the damage problem, so a gust of air won't break your car anymore. They're a bit sturdier, so they've gone back to heavy damage. So if these guys pick up some damage, they, if it's too bad, they'll have to pit and fix it, or they can try and carry on driving with it. But so let's get through this table. I won't go through car to car because it'll be very difficult, but it's good for you to have a feel of who it is. But them guys, SOE Kevin, is at the top of the table on 73 points. Then we have Full Throttle Racing on 69 points. Rotary, Evil Dragon, and Mr. Slowly. Are any of those around? Can we see any of those? See? Evil Dragon 4, Full Throttle Racing. I said I was going to get a pen to myself and underline who's racing in what room. So yeah, we've got Evil Dragon. I don't think I've had Evil Dragon on Stint 1 before. I think I've had Mr. Slowly and maybe Rotary, I'm not sure. But Evil Dragon in the Ford GT Car 66. They're second in the championship on 69 points. Just 4 points behind SBM featuring SOE. Third place, 65 points for Stacilla Racing. And that's Frequency, Nibbles and Beetlejuice. And who do we have? None of them? All of them? Shall we forget about the table for now? Because, hey, we should have 12. Who's missing? We've got a few missing, have we not? Or can I not see them? Well, that's a darn shame if that's the thing. All right, well, they're coming up to the end of their lap. I don't know. All right, we'll do the table. Stacilla are racing with Frequency, Nibbles and Beetlejuice. I can't see them in the room. They're on 65 points in fourth. 59 points, the Humble Guys Racing Team Holland. In the Toyota, that's Noir Antares, who we're following around at the moment, who has just put it on pole. TSO 40 and Sonam in fifth place on 51 points. AXR in the Mazda with Robbo, Joker and Illusion. In sixth place on 42 points, AequepaX Racing in the Toyota with Splash, Fred Dude and Brute. On seventh place on 39 points, we have Trail Breaking Racers in the Mazda, Haza, Joel and Anton Poika. Eighth, 34 points, VRC Motorsports in the Toyota, Binko, Digital Blasphemy, Matt Psycho. Ninth place on 32 points, the Humble Guys, Humble, Waterskin and Ep3 in the McLaren. 10th place we have 28 points, VRC Racing with Guesty, Noxie and Bandit in the Porsche. 11th place we have 23 points, the Humble Guys Racing for Holland in the McLaren with Corey, Mike and Sticky Bandit. And in 12th place, Sidemax Motorsports with Shadow and Sober Motorsports in the Ford GT on 21 points. So yeah, but I don't think everyone's in, and we've got a few people pitting. Is that damage? Oh yeah, front spoiler on Robbo. Yeah, front spoiler again on Kevin, and Corey picking up damage from both ends there. So Splash is in the pole now with his first flying run. He's managed to plonk it in. Is this working? No one's actually chatted. Hang on. That's right. I was just checking the chat was, everyone's not chatting, so I thought it wasn't working. There's Bandit saying, good evening, let's go VRC. We're well into qualifying now, and it looks like Full Throttle Racing having a massive wiggle on in front of Splash. Gets out of the way as Splash gets on his way. Only 0.04 of a second between him and Noirs for the Humble Guys Racing. And Sober Motorsport out there racing for Sidemax. They're at the bottom of the table at the moment in the Ford GT. But you know, with a couple of people not well, it doesn't look like they're here. I don't know. I thought they said it's 12 people when I clocked into the room, but I can only see 10 on track. So I don't know. Well, yeah, 11. One would be Brute. I don't know who the other one would be, but Sober, he's third fastest so far, and they could do with a very good result because we've seen some major movement in the table from last round. I mean, who was it? I think have jumped a whole hell of a lot. Hella stacks. It was, yeah, it was the Humble Guys Humble with Waterskin in F3, jumping from 12th place up into 9th, jumping ahead of VRC, the other THG team, and Sidemax Motorsports. So there's plenty of points. Now Noirs back on pole again. And he's pushing that Supra as far as it could possibly go and getting some more out of it. Haza for the trail breaking racers has just popped it up into second for the Mazdas. Then we got Splash in third, racing for AequepaX Racing. Hang on. Yes, AequepaX Racing team in Toyota. Then Sober in the Sidemax. 1.1 seconds behind Splash. Just behind him is the VRC Motorsports team in the Toyota. That's Digital Blasphemy, fifth. He had a good showing last week. I think he got fourth or something like that in Stint 1. So he'll be looking to get a good position in that Toyota. Just ahead of him, we see Noxie going for the first stint in the Porsche. His teammate is Guesty. And yeah, like I said, in the Porsche for VRC Racing. Evil Dragon out there for Full Throttle Racing and only qualified 7th so far. And I know it's only 10 minutes. We're into the last, and I think it's 10 minutes dead. It's not like 10 minutes you get to finish your lap. It's 10 minutes. So Full Throttle Racing running out of time to get up the grid. And so is Kevin. We saw him having to come in and fix his car. He's getting purples now, though. So Kevin hunting to get back on top. It's going to be very tight with only a minute to go. And he's only got less than a minute to get to the end. Corey. Splash has gone back on top again. And Dan Robbo picking up more more damage there for the AXR team. So he's not getting that Supra dialed in nicely. It's not a Supra, hang on, let me tell you what he's in. He's in a Mazda, sorry, he's in a Mazda. Not getting the Mazda dialed in, whereas Haza has, but he's had to come in, I don't know what for, maybe that's it. He knows he can't get another lap in, so comes into the pit. Splash pole though, 159.9. Superb stuff there from Splash. As he comes up around the cut-in. Through Quarry Corner. Up to turns 9 and 10. And he'll be soon on the skyline. Heading into the dipper. So that's the 10 minutes. So far we've got Splash on pole, Noir's in second, Haza is in third, but he's picked up a huge penalty. Sober in fourth. I think it might be 15 minutes qualifying actually, or 12 minutes qualifying. I always get it wrong. It's because I've read the rules, and in the rules it says 10 minutes, 10-2. Oh, it might say 12 minutes, but it starts at 10-2, something like that. So yeah, they've got time, sorry, they're still going. Homesick in the chat saying, come on VRC, and good luck to all, he says. So far, Kevin, he's up into 5th. He's managed to get a lap in. He's got himself up to 5th with that. So let's go through a run through here. I think it is 12 minutes of qualifying, or 15. I can't quite remember, but we'll know when it's over. Splash is on pole. Noirs crosses the line with an outlap, and he slows right down. So I don't think he's going for another run. It doesn't look like he's going for another run, and that's odd. Splash has gone into the pits, so maybe there is room for another run. Maybe it is 15 minutes. Haza's got to get rid of that penalty, but he's on an outlap anyway. So it's the most pointless penalty in the world. Oh, he got a penalty on his outlap. Well done, PD. Sober then, for Side Maximum Racing. That's brilliant stuff. Say they're 12th, and he's come into the pits. I'm really confused, guys. I'm not sure. I really should check on the time of qualifying. Let me look. I read it. It says it starts at 10-2, and I assumed that was 10 minutes. 12 minutes. It does say 12 minutes. It's a 12-minute lobby time, so these guys pitting, I don't think they're going to do anything. So Splash is on an outlap. He's stopped. He's on pole. Noirs, he can't do it either. He's in second. Haza's third. Sober's fourth. Kevin's fifth. Does he cross the line again? He did. He got across the line, but he couldn't get any better than fifth. Noxie sixth. Great drive for the VRC Racing boys ahead of the VRC Motorsports boys. With Digital Blasphemy in seventh. Corey starting in eighth for the Humble guys. Someone's just joined the room, and that's a name that I don't recognise. Dan Robbo in ninth for the AXR boys. And Evil Dragon is 10th for Full Throttle Racing, which to say they're chasing down the SBM featuring SOE boys, the Subaru boys. I'm going to call them Subaru boys. Oh, Frequency is in the room. So he is in the room. He's not. Let me have a quick scander of who's in that room. It's gone up to 11. My word, it's gone up to 11. So does that just mean Frequency misses out on qualifying and starts from the back? It must do. So who's the other people that are... Ooh, bang, bang. Can't park there, mate. Yeah, you can't park there. So, yeah. frequencies here, so that means we're on for Stusilla Racing for Stint 1, and there's just, who was the other guys? Was it one of the Humble guys? Noir's is here, Robbo's here. Splash is in the... Is Splash in the other... Yeah, Splash is on pole. The trail braking guys are here, the VRC boys are here. Waterskin or EP3? Waterskin or EP3? Oh, come on, boys. You just done a stunning feat of getting off the bottom of the table, and now they're going to miss out a round. That is, oh, such a shame. And here we see a little bit of bullying on track there between the AequepaX Racing boys. And I believe that Splash getting a little bit... Oh, and the full throttle boys go full frontal. They go full dong straight into Splash, and they're all just bullying Splash because he got pole position. Fastest man, and there we go. We're going on the grid now. Group realises too much, and it's so weird. Splash is on pole. Oh, it does say pole. Maybe they fixed that then. A standing star, here we go. Will it put me in car? Will it not? It's such a short corner to Hell's Corner, short straight. It's going to be a struggle what to do. Here we go. It's in car, isn't it? It is. You buggering. I don't want to leave, but I've got to. Sorry, boys. And there they go. They're off and up towards Hell's Corner. Sorry. And Noirs has got the lead. Noirs from Splash has got the lead there. And Splash has Sober right there. Sidemax Motorsports having a look. And Noxie up into 4th. With Digital Blasphemy in 5th, so who had a bad one? Harzer in the Mazda, not a great start, and nor a great start for Kevin in the Subaru either. Then we have Frequency from the back up to 8th already. Dan Robbo on 9th, he is on Racing Softs, I was checking his tyres then. Evil Dragon in 10th, and Corey is in 11th place so far, but it's Noirs and Terras that is leading this race from Splash, pole sitter Splash, so we know he has the pace. He's got the money. So we're looking for Splash to try and get back ahead of Noirs on this one. Anton Poika in the chat saying, good luck, Harzer. Indeedly, good luck, Harzer. He's dropped a few places from the standing start, but we know Harzer can make them up easily. And going down into the dipper, we are sat aboard Splash for AXR Racing. AequepaX Racing, sorry, the Toyota. And the Toyota at the pointy end of the crew. And what else is going on then? So Sidemax is up into 3rd. Harzer already up into 4th. So he had a drop. Oh no, it's the VRC boys that have paid. Dan Robbo also up into 5th for the AequepaX Racing guys. Digital Blasphemy slipping down into 6th in his Supra for the VRC Racing guys. And back here we've got Kevin and Evil Dragon VVVV, and Kevin's taking a big bite off the curb there, and Evil Dragon just manages to swing on by and leaves Kevin down into 8th, and Kevin going straight. Oh, he's got damage, and that is what's wrong there. So Full Throttle Racing also picked up a bit of damage as Kevin goes in to fix it, and Noxie's got a little front damage as well, so he must have had a knock. Will he come straight in and fix it, or is he going to keep on driving with it? He's going with it, he's sticking with it, and it depends on how much it costs him. Noirs Anteras now having to go into defensive mode. He can feel Splash breathing down his neck. He is breathing down his neck. And Noirs has to keep it perfect, keep the perfect line, keep it defensive, but fast as well, because he doesn't want the rest of the pack joining the back of Splash. And there is the Sidemax Motorsports guys with Sober at the helm in 3rd place in the Ford GT. Great drive there from them. That's good hella points. They need it in the championship at the moment against the VRC boys. That's who they're chasing. And Racing for Holland Humble guys. That's Corey, Mike, and Sticky Fingers. Sticky Bandit, sorry. Excuse me. Oh, you got that cough? I just heard it in the background. Sorry, I tried to cover it. So Harzer's under a lot of pressure now. It's Mazda on Mazda action as Robbo lays it down for Harzer to defend. Then we've got Digital Blasphemy still in 6th ahead of Evil Dragon, but we saw Evil Dragon carrying a little bit of damage. Now Frequency up into 8th, missed out on qualifying, but comes good in the race. Noir Antera still leads from Splash, and this is the move. We're getting the move. Oh, what a move. And straight through with the toe, aid of the toe, Dan Robbo up into 4th place now and chasing down that podium position that Sober Motorsports is on at the moment. And Haza, he won't rest with that. He knows what to do. He knows what to do. Digital Blasphemy in 6th. He's good. He's got a bit of a second behind him before Evil Dragon, and Evil Dragon carrying that damage, and it could be costing him a fraction of time around here at Bathurst. And, oh, God, I thought you'd see him there, but you didn't. So Digi did a 204.0 on that lap. Evil Dragon doing a 203.8, so it's not slowing him down too much in the Ford GT, and he is flying. And his next victim will be Digital Blasphemy. There's Frequency. He's got damage at the front and the back in the Alfa Romeo, but he's still going strong. He's only 6/10 ahead of Corey. Corey's car's clean at the moment. The McLaren are looking sturdy, looking strong. There's Noxie carrying that bit of damage. He's only ahead of Kevin, who went in and fixed his damage, but he's not too far behind the Noxter, and Noxter doing a 205.1. Noxie, come on, my son. Corey then 205.6, so he's a bit faster than Corey in the McLaren, and the McLaren is catching up with Frequency, who's carrying hella damage front and back, with Evil Dragon with that front dampener problem, but he's closing in on Digital Blasphemy, and Digital Blasphemy, beware. But Digital Blasphemy, we've seen, he's an uncanny racer, and he will not get drawn into this. Digital Blasphemy right now, I promise you, will be looking after tyres, looking after fuel. He'll be sticking to a delta. He'll be sticking to a lap time. He knows exactly what he needs to do in this race, and he will be sticking to that by the millisecond. And it doesn't matter what Evil Dragon's doing. He wants to go in front, behind, wherever. Digital Blasphemy taking care of business as Evil Dragon canes his tyres with that damaged front splitter. Coming up in the toe, he's going to get the position. Whoosh, up the inside, a beautiful move from the Ford GT for Full Throttle Racing, and he touches the door! He touches the grass and he goes flying. And no, it's not bad actually, is he? He crossed over and he's ended up back on the track again, so it's not all terrible for him. But damn, man, he got the move done, and Digital Blasphemy's giggling at you. Oh, Digital Blasphemy's picked up a bit of damage at the back there. From what? I do not know. He didn't have it earlier. So Haza, oh, look at this train we've got here. So Dan Robbo has got that Sober Motorsports position back, but Sober's having a look. Oh, sugar, what happened there? Sober's coming back up the inside of Dan, but no, Dan's on the inside. He's trying it on the outside, Sober, and he's lost the position to Haza. And Haza is up following Dan. The Mazdas are looking strong. Strong boy, as the Ford GT drops 2 positions. From the last time we saw him, he was sitting happily in 3rd. And now we've got this Mazda combo chasing down AXR Splash, whom also is chasing down Noir. He is not far behind. He has not dropped much time to Noir's. And oh, as we speak, he goes sideways into the barrier, but somehow does not take any damage on board. And Splash may be losing a little bit of time to Noir's. It's all right because he hasn't damaged his car, and that's the main thing. Dan has dropped it from Haza. Haza has absolutely had a mental one. He's broken all of the suspension on his right-hand side, his front dampener and his rear splitter. And that, my son, it means it's got to go into the pits. He's got to go and have a quick fit. Digital Blasphemy is still ahead of Evil Dragon, and now Frequency has joined the party, and behind them is Corey. Corey's the only one with a car that's working. All the rest of these guys all carrying damage, and we are only on lap 4. It's an hour and a half race, boys. We're only 8 minutes into it. You guys are going for it like it's a sprint race. They can't calm down, these boys. So Digital Blasphemy in 6th place, holding position, and he's going to come across Haza, who's struggling to get into the pits. He's going to probably pick up a penalty, isn't he, for going the detour into the pits. And poor Haza, that is not what he needs in this race. And Digital Blasphemy goes up, and Frequency also decides he's going to fix what he's got. Oh, we must be near a pit window. A quarter of the tank done. Only 8 minutes. It's not a pit window, is it? That's a desperation move. So, Noirs is still ahead of Splash, sorry, by 2 seconds. Then Dan Robbo is in third in the Mazda. Sober fourth in the Ford GT, with Digital Blasphemy now in fifth, being chased down by the Ford GT of Full Throttle Racing. Then we have Corey in seventh, Kevin up into eighth spot, and this race is one that's going to be making legends, I tell thee. At the end of this, legends will be born. Right, I need a drink. I've got back to Discord now to see. Oh, Nibbles. Is that the one that couldn't get in? Oh, yeah. Dave in the chat saying, let's go THG. They're doing well, man. I don't know which THG team you're rooting for, but one of them is at the top. The Humble Guys Racing Team Holland are the ones at the top of the pile at the moment. Good points for them. They're in fourth on 59 points, chasing down Stasilla Racing, which at the moment Frequency pitted the last we saw of him. We're not even going to talk about what his tyres are doing, though, aren't they, Noirs? They have changed the tyre wear with the last update again. I think it's not so much when they go full red. Something about the temperature. They do something with the temperature, but when it goes full red, they're drivable. They're just very slow. You don't fall off the track every 2 seconds like you did before. So they can drive their tyres right to the knob, but if they do, they will go very slowly indeed. So Noir and Terrace 2 seconds ahead of Splash, trying to chase him back down again. He did a 2-minute last time out. Noir's getting 2-minutes every lap. And Dan Robbo, he's pulled himself a nice bit of space, excuse me, between him and Sober. And Sober's got hells of space behind him. 14 seconds before fifth place, Digital Blasphemy. And Digital Blasphemy getting the fastest lap of his race so far, a 203.4, next to Evil Dragon's 203.5. And these two are set for a beautiful race here. And Evil Dragon already has made the move on Digital Blasphemy, but he put a wheel on the dirt, had a little trip across the countryside, across the bush, here in Down Under, and ended up on the track facing the right way. So lucky boy, buy a lotto ticket. So Evil Dragon at the moment with the big squirrel on, going downhill. It does unsteady the car, it has to be said, and he really is applying the pressure to Digital Blasphemy. And Digital Blasphemy at the moment fourth last time out, and he's sitting in fifth, looking very tidy indeed, with Corey up into seventh in the McLaren. He's got a lot of damage on that car. And then he's got Kevin, who pitted earlier with damage, closing in. And I believe Corey is just the lamb to the slaughter here, I'm afraid, because Kevin is bringing it. Dane in the chat saying, I have love for all the THG. There's three the Humble Guy. And there goes Kevin going through. Sorry, that was quicker than I expected. But yes, oh God, yeah, there's a big difference there between himself and Corey. And Digital Blasphemy's dropped behind Evil Dragon as well. Evil Dragon got the move done this time, has got it in the bag. Corey goes into the pits with his damage. And my word, there's going to be a lot of pits with all this damage. And Dane also saying Dragon doesn't look happy coming downhill in the Ford. It's looking a bit meaty, is that Ford, for Evil Dragon. It's a bit of a handful. It's a monster, isn't it? And Digital Blasphemy 205 last time around, must have made a small mistake, and he can't make many of those because Kevin's doing 2 minutes 201s right now, and he's only 9 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. There's Haza after his pit stop, his repair job. He's ahead of Frequency, so we've got two Finns in a row. And the Mazda versus the Alfa Romeo, and they're sitting in 8th and 9th respectively at the moment. but I expect them to move up as well with that earlier pit stop. They'll be getting some good lap times in, the guys that stayed out there with damage, losing time every lap they go around. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth staying out with the damage, because overall, oh, Noxie's back at the back again, and he's picked up some more damage again. A 2:28 on lap 5. Was that a pit stop? I think it was. And he's come out and damaged the car. So Noir's 2.5 seconds ahead of Splash. And Splash is being caught by his team, well, the other team of his team, Dan Robbo. And really, AequepaX Racing and AXR are both side by side. In the AXR are 5th, AequepaX is 6th, and there's nearly 9 points between them. 51 points for the AXR team. That's who Splash, no, that's who Robbo drives for. He's the one behind at the moment, and Splash drives for the AequepaX Racing, and they're on 42 points. So Splash really wants to stay ahead, but his tyres are starting to look like they've been used, as are Noir and Terra's. So we are getting to that point now, 15 minutes into this 90-minute race, and it looks like a set of softs is starting to give up. Will they go to the mediums and try and go for longer runs? The tyres definitely are not lasting as long as the fuel is. Adam in the chat saying Corey lifted to let Kevin through before the kink on the straight. Oh, there you go. Fair play. His racer wasn't with him today, and didn't want to get involved in that. So Noir's is 2.5 seconds. He's not managed to pull any more than that away. The tyres are starting to look fidgety now. They should be having a bit of a drop off. Not for Dan though. Dan absolutely caning it, and he is closing in. He's just out the tow zone for Splash at the moment. He won't be getting a tow from that car ahead. Then we've got Sober in 4th. He's looking after his tyres absolutely deliciously, but I think he's using his fuel up more. No, Noir also using quite a lot of fuel. But there it looks like Splash and Robbo have looked after their fuel nicely, not their tyres though. Sober's tyres looking great, but fuel down to nearly a quarter. Evil Dragon, even with that damage, he's caning his rear tyres though, and there goes Splash and Robbo both in for new tyres, we suspect. And I said Sober's looking after his tyres, but they're not that great, are they? It's the Ford GT are caning them at the back more than so in the front. So Sober's in as well. This must be around that time these tyres last for. Evil Dragon's rear tyres aren't looking too healthy either in his Ford. What will he do? He's picked up a bit of damage, so his pit stop's going to be a bit longer. If he decides to fix the damage, he doesn't. He continues on, as does Digital Blasphemy, although Digital Blasphemy's tyres and fuel are in a bit of a better state than Evil Dragon's. They've dropped Sober down to the ground. He was in 4th. Now Digital Blasphemy moves ahead, as does Evil Dragon, and Sober comes out just behind. No, because Kevin's coming through as well. Kevin's got the momentum. He goes alongside Sober, and Kevin looks to get that 6th place away from Sober. So Sober out of the pits on fresh tyres, 3/4 of a tank of fuel on brand new softs. So he hasn't. They've gone for softs again, even though they don't have much of a life. Haza in 8th. He's some 11 seconds behind the recently pitted Sober. And Frequency right there on his jangly rear behind. These two pitted earlier in the race for damage, and they're in a race of their own, out of sequence, as is Noxie, who's now ahead of Corey. But Noxie's looking like he's getting ready for a pit stop, because his rear tyres are looking absolutely torn to sunders, and Corey there with fresh tyres. He's got 6.3 seconds till he catches up the Noxter. And Noxie, he's fighting that poor Porsche in every corner. Then we got the leader comes into the pits. Oh, he misses the road, and Splash and Dan Robbo still together on pits, on track. I mean, Dan Robbo getting a fastest lap earlier in the race. These two are on their out lap, and they could get the jump on Noirs, who hasn't even got to his box yet. And oh my God, team orders. Splash has moved over for Dan Robbo. Obviously been told you're holding up the other team, the Red Bull, and Splash is obviously driving for Toro Rosso. Oh, I didn't know you was the bitch. Splash. Shall we call you Barrichello? Or shall you be known as Bottas? So it looked like a little inter-team play there, and Dan Robbo goes into the lead in the Mazda. And I'll tell you what, it's fair. If he's faster, you don't want to be held up. He's got a chance to win. They're taking this race to the humble guys. Oh, the humble guys have picked up a 3-second penalty. It's all going downhill for Noir and Terrace. 3 seconds, that's huge news. And Harley in the chat saying pits now or the tyres RIP. And oh, Noir's hitting the sides with absolute intention to try and bust his car if he is not careful. He's still ahead of Evil Dragon by 11 seconds, and Evil Dragon has not pitted yet. So the top three look pretty solid there. Kevin's looking like he's about ready, even though he's out of pit sequence. It was an early pit stop he had to take, what, lap 2, lap 3 for those tyres. So he's looking ready to go in again, but the Subaru does seem to be even on wear. So the more even those tyres are worn, the more you can live with them. And there we see Digital Blasphemy. And oh, Sober on the fresh tyres. We thought he was going to blast past these guys, and he has not. He's stuck behind a Digital Blasphemy who's driving on a dead set of softs and a broken rear Philipid-wop. And there we go, then we can see Sober now with that grunt of the Ford GT trying to get past the Supra down the straight, and he does it. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. Beautiful turkey. So Sober then is now up into 6th place after his pit stop, and Digital Blasphemy, we assume, is going to be in the pits soon. Haza won't need a pits, but his fuel is only on a quarter. Frequency chasing him down. These two have been battling very hard indeed. Meanwhile, at the top of the roster, we've got Dan Robbo now 1.4 seconds ahead of Splash, and you can see why they've used team orders there. Noir Anteras chasing him down. He is the Jeopardy. Kevin now up into 4th as Digital Blasphemy goes into the pits. And that wouldn't... Oh, Kevin's dropped down. No, Kevin's had an issue. Kevin's got passed because Evil Dragon in the Full Throttle Racing guys, 2nd in the championship. They've occurred a problem. His rear tyres are absolutely shot, and he can't get that car around, and he's getting caught by Sober, who did pit recently, and he is now, it's Ford GT on Ford GT. As you can see, Full Throttle gets no grip whatsoever there for Evil Dragon, and he is fighting that car just to get to a pit stop. How far behind Haza is he? Haza's just been overtaken by Frequency. I don't know if Haza made a mistake there. It looks like he went a little wide, and Frequency was there to pick up the pieces, and now Frequency is through in the Alfa Romeo as Haza sits in 8th. Digital Blasphemy out of the pits, and he's fixed his damage. A brand new set of racing softs, full tank of fuel. He's in 9th place at the moment, with Corey in 10th, and as Noxie parked it. No, he hasn't. He's just taking a pit stop. And the Porsche looks like it's angry on its tyres, doesn't it? The Porsche isn't fun. Damn, boy, I just slammed my latte. So, Dan Robbo getting fastest lap in the Mazda, and this is looking very good for the AequepaX, the AXR boys. They're chasing down, ironically, Noir Anteras. So, yes, they need the points. And they need Noir Anteras to drop a bit. There goes Kevin with his dead tyres into the pits, and that will promote Sober back up into 4th place. But he's some 13.5 seconds off of Noir now. And Evil Dragon also pits with those dead tyres, and Frequency up into 5th place. He's out of sync with the other guys with pit stops. He went in to fix some damage earlier in the race. Haza goes in as well. He's picked up some damage, bless him, but his fuel was low, so he may as well. And that means Digital Blasphemy is going to jump hella cars here. He's going to jump up the order humongously. Here he comes. There he goes, up to 7th. He doesn't get Kevin, though. Kevin gets out of the pits and back on his way. Some 17 seconds behind the Finn for the Stint Racing team in the Alpha car 118. Piloted by Frequency, Nibbles, and Beetlejuice. And Frequency at the moment 5th place, but like I said, he's out of sync. He's only got a quarter of a tank on board, whilst Kevin has got full beans tank and brand new boots, and he's good to go. He wants to go out dancing. Noir's meanwhile 8 seconds behind Splash and Robbo, but Splash and Robbo down below the halfway line on the tank, and Noir's just above it. Fresher tyres than the 2 ahead of him, possibly. Well, similar. Yeah, well, one wonders. Well, he lost 3 seconds to a penalty. Does that equate to 8 seconds overall? I don't know, but that seems a lot. Seems a big drop to the boys ahead. Maybe he had to put less. He put a bit more fuel in than them guys when they pitted. But yeah, he's lost a chunk of time in the pit stops, and he's got to try and claw that back. Indeedly. Whoo-wee. He's just gone faster than he's gone before in the race. Sober, 15 seconds adrift of him with a 2:02. He's got Frequency chasing him down, but Frequency will be in the pits in the next lap or two. If not for those rear tyres, it'll be for the fuel tank. Kevin, recently out of the pits, back ahead of Digital Blasphemy, who's in 7th spot. And Digital Blasphemy has been steady as a rock so far around here. We saw him with a bit of rear damage, but we don't know where he picked that up from, because one minute he didn't have damage, then he did. So, not sure where he got that. Evil Dragon in 8th place. After his pits, only 3.7 seconds behind Digi. It was Digital Blasphemy he was racing with. It looks like that's where their race is with today, in the VRC and Full Throttle Racing, going at it with each other. And it's glorious to see. Haza for the trail braking crew is chasing them down some 5 seconds adrift on the softs. Corey's back into the pits, no fuel. Tyres look okay. He's really looking after those tyres, but the fuel, the McLaren, is a thirsty boy. And will that help Noxie up a position? Noxie, for the first time today, I think we've seen with a healthy car. Every time we've seen him, he's had a bit of damage. So, Noxie, with a healthy car, gets good lap times, cracking stuff. He's on the move now. He's up ahead of Corey. He's got 35 seconds to Haza, though, and that is a mountain. And there we see Corey just coming out of the pits, and we've got a lovely little battle shaping up between the McLaren and the Porsche on track. And they're on similar tyre. Oh no, Corey's gone for a medium set of tyres and full deck on board. He's driving a heavy McLaren out there with racing mediums. He's going for a long stint in the middle of this race. We are 27 minutes virtually into a 90-minute race. And wow, time does fly, doesn't it, eh? When you're having such fun as this. And at the moment, we've got the AequepaX, the AXR boys in the Mazda, sitting at the top of the pile. And it doesn't look like there's anyone there to beat them. It looks like full points will be handed out to the AXR boys. Then we have the AequepaX Racing team sitting in second. Solid as well, because Noir has lost time to him. And it looks like Noir cannot do anything in the Supra for the humble guys Racing Team Holland. It's good points for them. They are ahead of AXR and AequepaX, though. So he doesn't want to drop any more positions. He needs to stay in third just to stay ahead in the championship for Stint 1. I don't know what happens in Stint 2. And they're sober. This is the story of the race. Last place team, Sidemax Motorworks, in 12th place on 21 points, only 2 points behind the humble guys of Corey, who at the moment is sitting in last place. And this is going to be a massive boost to their championship campaign for the Sidemax Motorworks. Getting 4th place in this race really will jettison them up the table. Frequency in 5th place, Stasilla, who was second in this championship before this last round. And Full Throttle Racing overtook them, but they're sitting in a great place ahead of Full Throttle Racing again, to get some movement in the table, get themselves back up into second place in that championship, chasing after the SPM boys, who they are also ahead of, because the man directly behind them is Kevin. But frequency is fuel tanks flashing. I tell you what, he's maintained good lap times for those old tyres, hasn't he? 2:01. Can he stay within the lines and not pick up a penalty as he comes into the pits? We've seen a lot of them struggle. That was beautiful. That was poetic. But that's going to be a position for Kevin up into 5th place. The championship leader looking good. 3/4 of a tank of fuel, barely anywhere on his tyres. He's going the distance, son. He's going the distance. Watch him. Watch him, he's going the distance. So Sober in 4th, he's good 23 seconds ahead of Kevin, but he's only on 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Kevin's on 3/4 of a tank of fuel. You do the math. Seems like Kevin's in a better position. Noir's there 17 seconds ahead of Sober, and he's chasing down Splash and Robbo, but he's not getting any closer, and he's not. Oh, but these guys are all but out of fuel. We've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow flag. Someone's had a bit of an off. Whom was it? I can't find anyone. And no one seems to have suddenly. Oh, it must have been maybe. Corey's dropped away. He's getting a blue flag. Noxie also getting a blue flag, and Noxie's got some damage, so I think it was Noxie that was the yellow flag. And Noxie really doesn't like that front corner of his car. He keeps giving it a bash, and he pulls over and lets the second place man through, I believe. And Corey, it'll be his teammate that's catching. No, it's Side Max. No, it is Noir Anteras, teammate, catching up as he gets right over, not to be in the way of Noir's. He might have to give a big lift as well. He does, and that doesn't help with his battle with Noxie, who's 9 seconds up the road with a bit of damage. And he only did a 2:15 last time around, letting the leaders through, and I think he had an off as well. Haza then 9th. He's only 4 seconds behind Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon, we've seen that Ford GT, is very aggressive on the rear tyres, and Evil Dragon, he might be in trouble here from the Finnish driver, who's chasing him down. And his battle was with Digital Blasphemy, but now Digital Blasphemy seems to be catching Frequency up, who's just come out of the pits, and that is why. And he's chasing down Kevin, who's massive up the road, to Digital Blasphemy. Say Digital Blasphemy only a few laps ago wasn't that far behind Kevin, and now Kevin has gone into another realm, as Digital Blasphemy is a new target, is the Frequency for Stacilla Racing. Now that's Digital Blasphemy having an absolute blast out there these last 2 events in the Supra, getting some great positions. Evil Dragon for the Full Throttle Racing guys. Again, he did a 2:02.6 last time around, his fastest lap of the race. Haza did a 2:03, so no, Haza not catching Evil Dragon as quickly as we would think. Noxie's back. Oh, we've lost Corey. Corey's gone. Oh, that's such a shame. It's a bit of a worry when people leave the room. It does make things glitch. But Dan Robbo into the pits. Will Splash follow him? Yes, they do. And what's Noir's situation? He's got 1/4 of a tank still on board. Plenty of meat on the tyres. And he is on his way around and back into the lead. Side Max, his fuel is flashing. Sober, I mean. His fuel is flashing. He's going to be into the pits at the end of this one. Kevin's on half a tank of fuel. He's going to be ahead of the Side Max Racing team, I believe. I mean, 22 seconds. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I think Sober might get out just ahead of Kevin, possibly, if not at the same time. Oh, Dan's picked up a massive penalty. He's picked up a huge penalty whilst in the pits. That is playing to Noir Anteras, who also got that same penalty. And he's coming up to lap Noxie, who he's not going to be able to catch up Haza, is he, at this rate, if he has to keep pulling over to to let the leaders through, but that is the nature of the race, and Noir's will be upon him pretty soon. Dan Robbo with that penalty. Splash is some 9 seconds. What? How has Splash ended up that far behind his teammate? And Corey has left. Let's hope everything goes well and nothing sheds itself in this lobby, and it all stays proper and prim. And Corey then driving for the Humble guys, racing for Holland with Mike and Sticky Bandit. They're chasing down VRC Racing. The fight he had with Noxie at the back there was important for the championship. And here we go, there's Dan Robbo paying his penalty. And well, you've got to say though, he's pitted, he's only 6 seconds behind Noir, and I'm not quite sure which way this race is going to go, in all fairness. But at the moment, Noir leading, tyres not looking great, fuel's looking low. Dan's only 8 seconds behind him, so Dan will be back in the lead of this race when Noir pits. And Splash not much closer. What's going on with Splash? 2:15 is it's 2 seconds longer his pit stop. Did he put a lot more fuel in? No, he doesn't seem to. So Splash losing quite a bit of time. Maybe he had to put more. No, I thought their fuels looked pretty similar when they got to the pits. Kevin though, oh, he did stay ahead of Sober, and we thought they'd be pretty close on track, but it's 5 seconds between them. But Kevin now half a tank of fuel. His tyres are looking well on the Subaru. Kevin's looking good here. Kevin is looking good. He might be doing a pit stop less than the guys ahead of him. He's on the same fuel as Splash, and he's 25 seconds behind him. But I think Kevin's slowly chasing down those leaders, with Sober then in 5th, ahead of Frequency, he's managed to pull a little bit away from Digital Blasphemy, in 7th. Evil Dragon in 8th, but Evil Dragon's in trouble. He's picked up a bit of damage, and he's got the Mazda of Haza chasing him down. Oh, he's lost the road. He's lost the road as Evil Dragon, and Haza goes up and into 8th place. Sorry. There's a way you're meant to be able to look around with your joypads. Oh no, not that one. And I can never work out how to do it. Oh well. So where was we? That was Haza. Haza going up, and Evil Dragon takes it into the pits with the little bit of damage, and that is costly. That is costly. Well, he's a minute ahead of the Noxter. And look, we've got Groot in the race now. No, we haven't. We've got Groot's name on there. So there's a Noxie, but he's a minute behind Evil Dragon. That's gone in to fix his damage, get some fresh tyres. Haza managing to get up ahead of him, but he's 7 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy, and this is quite a battle, you know. They're very similar on fuel, and Haza has raced with Digital Blasphemy in the past in our VRC races, so it's going to be interesting. Frequency is moving away from Digital Blasphemy. It's pulling away, catching up with Sober. Now the leader is into the pits, and he's 8 seconds ahead of Dan Robbo, so Dan Robbo easily back into the lead. And let's hope Noir got in this time without picking up a penalty. And there goes Dan up ahead of him, and Splash, who doesn't seem to be having the same pace that he had earlier, and he's lost a lot of time to Dan Robbo. Oh, he's gained a bit actually. That'll be the penalty though, won't it, that Dan Robbo picked up. Glug, 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 glug. Are we going to see you race Groot sometime this season? So Corey saying, lost my brakes. Oh God. AequepaX saying, Corey, you should have parked in the pits, man. It is helpful if you just park it in the pits, because quitting out the room can bring all sorts of problems. We've got a game here held together by shoestrings and elastic bands. It seems their servers are just absolutely shoddy. They bought them at cut price. So yeah, you start quitting out of lobbies, the whole thing falls like a house of cards. So Dan Robbo though, although it's done well, you've got to say, hats off to PD. Of all the slagging, this room has stayed together so far. Oh, AequepaX saying I meant more for the points, lol. Yeah, and yeah, you get the points as well, fair enough. I care about lobby stability. Sod your points. So Dan Robbo, 6.9 points ahead. Seconds ahead of Splash, who's just put a lap on the Noxter. With Noirs then, after his pit stop, 13 seconds behind him. I don't know. I can't see strategically anything Noir can do. Until we get closer to the end of the race, we're nearly halfway. We're at 39 minutes. So not quite halfway into this race so far. We've had a fair few pit stops already, haven't we? The tyres are not going well, but they don't want to put the mediums on. Corey put the mediums on, but it broke his brakes. So, you know, we don't know. We don't know what, but they're staying to the softs. None of them want to go to medium tyre. So the softs are the way to go. Obviously, lots of pits. It's not a massive long pit lane, you see. So I think they've taken it as they don't lose a lot of time. It's worth pitting. Yeah, they do a 2:13, 2:50. So yeah, it's still 30 seconds, though, isn't it? Splash, 7.5 seconds behind Dan Robbo. And I tell you what, it's a total AequepaX whitewash here at the mountain. These boys have got it made. Look at them flying. The colours for AequepaX Racing. And Noir and Terrace for the humble guys in third. Then Kevin for the SBM featuring SOE team. He's going to be into the pits though. His tyres starting to go away from him. And the Side Max boys, I'll tell you what, they're going to pick up some big points today for the table. It's going to be beautiful. And so Sober bringing it around 5th place, done very well in the Ford GT here at the mountain, with Frequency in 6th. Looked like he was nowhere at that earlier stop, and he's stuck with it, and he's done an absolute super job. He's 14 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy, who's going to be pitting before him. Haza. Oh, it's so close between him and Digital Blasphemy. They're both similar fuel. In fact, Digital Blasphemy a little bit more fuel than Haza. Haza is closing in though. I think Digital Blasphemy's tyres are worn a little bit more than Haza's. Haza with the lighter Mazda is starting to close the gap to him and Digi. He's going in for the kill. Here's Evil Dragon in his Ford GT. He's had adventures today and he's overtaken almost everyone on the field. But that Ford... Now, in all fairness to some of these guys, it's very tricky for them to get the setups on. I think they have a short space of time where they can get the setups done on the car. Well, not a short space of time, but I've heard of some of them haven't put the setups in for one reason or another, so they're having to drive around on a stock car. And to tell you the truth, the way that Ford GT looks to be handling around here, I think he's not had time to get the setup in, or the setup's not taken, or something. I think he's driving around in a stock Ford GT there, and it looks like a headache. And AequepaX Racing said, "Sod your points, thingamajig 2022." You know, I prefer a strong lobby. Points are just additional. So there we go then. Oh no! And Noxie's gone now as well. We saw him pulled over by the side, and this really is turning into a race of attrition, and that's more points that VRC are going to lose out on there. Where are they? Oh well, Corey's gone, and Sober's doing absolutely astounding in this race. So Noxie out, and we're not even halfway. Lost 2 competitors. One for brakes, and with Noxie, we're not sure. But he could have easily just parked it in the pits. Now, in the VRC, guys, I know they do park it in the pits, and they know not to quit out of rooms. So I'm going to try and stick up for Noxie and say he probably didn't quit out. Although I don't know. And Dan Robbo gets the fastest lap of the race as he pulls 10 seconds ahead of Splash now. Splash looking solid for his 2nd spot, and it really is going to be an AequepaX whitewash out there. Noirs, he just can't do nothing about those 2 boys ahead of him, and one of them's in the same machinery. So no excuses for Noir and Terrace. And we know he lives in a confusing time. I think, was it American, lives in Japan. It's all something. Driving for a Dutch team. It's confusing. But he's doing well. He's got himself a podium. Kevin then, he still hasn't pitted. Look at him. But Sober is catching him, as is Frequency. We've got ourselves a race on, boys. At 44 minutes into this race, we've got Kevin in the Subaru in 4th. We've got Sober in the Ford GT in 5th. And we're sat on board Frequency in 6th spot. Haza goes into the pits just as he gets past Digi. Oh, he probably overtook Digi as he goes into the pits because the lanes go differently. So Haza's pitted, and Digital Blasphemy seems like he stayed out. And like I said, we've had so many pit stops, it's not even worth trying to read into the strategies. Let's just wait until we get close to the end of the race, then we'll start trying to work out who is where on the pits thing. So Frequency 8/10 behind Sober, who's had an absolutely cracking evening here at Australia. And for the Side Max Racing team, he's going to score himself some good points. But it looks like Kevin and Frequency both want to try and rob him of them. Oof. That was the gear changes. Thought it's a wall. Oof. That Alpha's... Is it an Alpha? Yeah, that Alpha's got some rough downshifts, hasn't it? And upshifts. Clunked like hell. Do you want to get an oil change on that? Is anyone... Frequency, is anyone in your team checking the oils? Because that's clunky, boy. You've got a clunky Alpha. He's lost a bit of time to Sober. Sober really is closing in on... Ooh, hang on. He's closing in on the Belgium. Kevin. I reckon we're going to see Kevin disappear into the pits this time around. And there he goes. Slots it in. And there goes Sober up into a 4th place for the Side Max Motorsports Geek guys. Motorworks, sorry, not Motorsports, Motorworks. So yes, Sober up to 4th place, chasing Noirs. He's only 11 seconds from Noir, but he's going to be pitting sooner. Frequency on a stunning run, pretty much the same as Sober at the moment. So Frequency has dragged that Alfa Romeo with its clunky gearbox all the way up to the back of the Ford GT. Kevin's not done anything in the pits. He's not done anything. He's not changed. He's not fueled. And he's got himself a 3-second penalty. My gosh, what happened? He must have missed the pit lane entrance. Maybe slid all the way through. We saw him disappearing into the pit area. It looked fine, but something's gone a terrible miss there. Digital Blasphemy is in the pits. Let's hope he gets it sorted. Evil Dragon is out there. He's going to... Oh, no, Evil Dragon. Where do we go? Why can't I go on Evil Dragon? Oh, because he's just gone up to 8th, that's why. So Evil Dragon goes ahead of Digital Blasphemy, who comes out the pits. Kevin's there. Oh my gosh, he's going to have to go round very slowly to try and keep that fuel together. He's going to have to pay a 3-second penalty. And this, oh my God, he must feel like Red Bull. That was controversial. Look, they overspent, I understand that. But Mercedes took 2 of their cars out in a season. That's expensive stuff, you know. Maybe Mercedes should spend the extra money that Red Bull had to pay their staff to feed them. I'm sure Mercedes were billed for both Red Bull cars they destroyed. Anyway, Dan Robbo there. He's going to be coming in the pits soon. Splash also known as Bottas. Nah, I'll tell you what, he had to pull over, didn't he? Look at that, 13 seconds ahead now is Dan Robbo. So, it would have been risky stuff, although Splash is now 24 seconds ahead of Noir. But Noir's going longer than these two. They're on different strategies, and when it comes to the end of the race, that's where it's going to count. And who's going to be on the right strategy, who knows? We're so far away. It's still another 42 minutes of racing here at the mountain. We've lost 2 guys already to the mountain, and it's been a tough race for all involved. That full damage on is sadistic. I told Groot it was sadistic at the beginning of this. I said, oh, Of all the places to turn full damage on, you chose Bathurst. My word. And so Noir, he's trying to catch up to the two ahead. Frequency is under pressure and low on fuel from Sober and Frequency pretty much similar. Look at Haza. Haza's up to 6th place. We thought we'd lost him to obscurity, and he's back in this race ahead of Evil Dragon and ahead of Digital Blast Me, who's now chasing down Evil Dragon, who's on half a tanks. Dan Robbo goes in. We assume Splash going in as well. Noir will stay out and retake the lead of the race. Frequency will be in. Sober may be in. He might try and push another lap out of that car, but he's probably best off just, well, they say in F1, do what they don't. But I would do what they do. I'd come in. I mean, you don't want to lose time. They'll get the undercut. He'll be on fresh tyres. So it's a big decision for Sober there, what to do. I think he's going to pit. His fuel's flashing in it. It's who knows. Splash then is a lost position. Dan Robbo got back out ahead. That's how much he's pulled out. He's got out ahead of Noir. No question about who's going to win this race. Splash gets out as Sober and Frequency both pit. Haza looking set to get ahead of them, and he's gone fresh tyres. Half a tank of fuel. How's Haza done that? He's too far behind now. He's over 51 seconds. These two are going to be getting back on track before Haza arrives. And Evil Dragon in his Ford GT. His squiggly Ford GT. It doesn't want to do what it's told. It's a mule today. And Digital Blast Me only 1.5 seconds behind him. And there's Kevin. He managed to get to the pits. Bless him. Wow, a 3:05. That's a stinger. That is certainly a stinger for the Subaru team. And God knows what happened. We saw him driving into the pits, and then next time we saw him, his tyres were still torn, his fuel tank was empty, and he picked up a little suspension damage along the way. So who knows what happened there. But Kevin is losing a lot of points for that SBM SOE team, or the Subaru team, I should just call them. They're the only Subaru team out there. And yeah, with only 4 points ahead of the Full Throttle guys. Luckily for them, Full Throttle are only in 7th place, and that is a false reading, because they probably are behind Digital Blast Me in reality. Haza doing a super job at the moment, trying to get back into this race. Has just gone faster than he's got in the race before. He's 21 seconds behind Sober, who's lost that position in the pit stops. So Frequency, who didn't short fill or do anything super different, got out ahead of Sober. Oh, unfortunate for Sober there. It doesn't look like. It just was a bit longer in the pit lane than Frequency was. I mean, with that weird wiggly entry, you could lose a lot of time. If you get that dead on, I mean, you could make about half a second up on a competitor just on the entry to the pits. So here we see Noirs. He's still got some fuel on board, but he's being caught very fast by Splash. Bot Splash. Dane in the chat saying, Corey, who needs brakes, lol? Use the car in front. Haha, that's a joke. So Bot Splash is trying to catch up with Noir and Terrace. 2 seconds. Dan Robbo absolutely in charge of this race. Ooh, a little knock on the wall there, but it hasn't cost him anything. It hasn't broke his car. And you must say Dan Robbo is making that Mazda sing today, bruv. He's absolutely making it purr around this track. Noir Anteras, will he stay ahead of Splash before his pit stop? But yeah, you've got to say that Splash and Robbo look like first and second. Noir a steady third. Frequency too far away, but he's going to be best of the rest at this rate. And Side Max Racing Motorworks, Side Max Motorworks, yeah. I don't know what happened to them in the pit stops. They were ahead of Frequency. They've lost the position. Haza on an absolute tear. He's pulled away from Digital Blasphemy, and Digital Blasphemy has got himself ahead of Dragon, who I honestly think he's trying to pull a stock setup around that. I don't think he's managed to get his setup in, or the setup's not taken, because the way he's tearing his tyres apart, that's unnatural. So, but he's giving it all. He's giving it his best shot. Is Evil Dragon only half a second away from Digi, who's chasing down Haza. And there's a beautiful little battle we've had here with these guys. And Kevin, he's going to go for some fastest laps, I believe. He's really going to have to do some caning to try and even catch up to the back. Oh, wiggle there, and it's just lucky for him that the people chasing him down, well, not so lucky. Well, yeah, really, because it's Full Throttle Racing in second and Stosilla in third. I mean, Stosilla are fourth in this race at the moment. And then it's the Humble guys that are third. Second at the moment, but he will pit and go third. It's still not ideal for the SBM team, the Subaru team, car 50. It's not ideal for them. Nothing can stop Dan Robbo at the moment, and he's absolutely killing it. It's getting a little cloudy out there. I don't know. Are we getting wet races here at Bathurst? Do they do wet race? I don't think there's such a thing as wet races at Bathurst. I don't think Australia know what rain is. So Noir's then, he's on low fuel. Splash is getting close to his toe. But I think Noir is just going to exit left and into the pits after the kink chase. After the chase, and then before Murray's corner, he'll just swing into the pits, Will Noirs, and try not to pick up a 3-second penalty. There he goes, as Splash takes second place. And look, see, that's that wiggly bit. I reckon they could make up half a second there if other people make a mistake. So Splash gets up into second place, some 19 seconds off his teammates. The wind, 3.3 meters a second. It means nothing to me. And it doesn't seem to be, it's not going up or down either of the straights, so I don't think it should be affecting them too much. I suppose it is a little bit behind them when they're coming down that dipper and the S's and stuff, which it would cause problems. Noir's coming out of the pits, and that AI really doesn't like driving the car out of the pits. Frequency then is along the start straight, 3 seconds ahead of Sober, and Haza is some 19 seconds behind them, but 14 seconds ahead of Digital Blasphemy, and that is very good indeed for Haza. I mean, they were with each other as we are coming up to 57 minutes racing done. Evil Dragon 4.3 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy. It's looking gloomy out there, and I mean, who would like rain? I'm not sure anyone would want rain around here with the way the walls are and full damage. Look at those tyres. That's definitely a car. That isn't a car that's set up for this track, is it? It wouldn't be destroying those rear tyres. You'd have the brake bias to the front somewhat, and you'd soften the back suspension a little bit maybe, so it wasn't getting so much damage on the rear tyres. Try and take a bit of slide out of it. Who knows? Oh right, Dane saying, any tips for getting into commentating? I'll tell you what, it's piddle. Just find a racing team that doesn't stream and say, do you want me to talk over you lot? And then all I do is say what I see. I just go up and down the list and say, oh look, there's Evil Dragon, his tyres look rough, he's having a rough time, he's 6 seconds behind Digital Blasphemy, he's 25 seconds ahead of Kevin. Then I'll move on to Kevin and say, Kevin's tyres look great, he's just over half a tank of fuel, he's chasing down Evil Dragon, he's doing some great lap times. This easy, see? And Adam saying, it's how I did it. And Dane saying, is that? Oh, so Adam says, pretend you know what you're talking about. Yeah, definitely. I don't have a clue what I'm on about. Dane saying, is that how he does it? Adam saying, it's how I did it. Dane saying, Let it rain. And Shadow saying race is 45 laps long. And we're on lap 28 at the moment. Oh, they are cloudy, aren't they? They're looking like some deep, dark clouds. And I'll tell you a car that would really like it, I guess, would be that Subaru. Because it's looking good on its tyres. It's four-wheel drive, I believe. And I think that car would love a bit of rain. But when everyone's gone past the pits, obviously, and he can go in and get some, he closed that gap up hugely. So Dan Robbo then is 21 seconds in the lead of this race. Quite fresh tyres, quarter of a tank of fuel. It's looking like a win for Dan. Splash, let it rain. Dane saying, I'm doing the rain dance in my living room. Lol. I said lol. He did the exclamation marks that I read as lol. So Splash in second. Noir and Terrace is in third place. And Frequency is in fourth. Sorry, my front door's going. I don't know why. What are you doing at the front door? Oh, right, sorry. That's right, it was the back door, not the front door. Thought we had burglars. I was going to say, yoo-hoo, I'm here. Come and torture me. So Dane saying, and Shadow saying, there is no rain in Bathurst, unfortunately. There you go. See? It's looking a little grim, though, isn't it? I didn't think there'd be rain in Australia. That seemed an odd place to have it. It just must get overcast. That means the track will get colder, which will look after the tyres more. So there's the full throttle, guys. Getting the blue flag. Oh, my word. Look at his tyres. He's gone. He's just gone through that chicane because, oh, what's the point? He hasn't got the grip to do it. And there he goes around. So, yeah, it's just a bit overcast. We don't get... It's because I got all hyped up at Spa and we didn't get any rain. So now, oh, big sideways from Evil Dragon there. He's picked up a little suspension damage for it. And it's going from bad to worse. He's racing Digital Blasphemy, just disappearing in the distance. And I don't know what's going on in Evil Dragon, but it's 10 seconds now for Kevin. And, you know, Full Throttle Racing is their closest competitor at the moment. So if he can get ahead of them, it's a job done, even if they're at the wrong end of the points in this race. We've gone over an hour, so we've got less than 30 minutes to go. And even though those clouds look big, grey and looming, they will not rain. There is no rain at Australia, I have been told. And Shadow saying, this is the Max CO6. And Dane saying, have GT7 added the kangaroos that came out during the uphill action section? Not yet, but it would be good to see, innit? Even one at the side of the track would be cool. Like an Easter egg. Just see it bouncing away in the background. So Dan Robbo there, 21 seconds in the lead from Splash, whom is in second place. And he's 28 seconds ahead of Noir. So that podium is nicely spaced out. Fuel, yeah, the two ahead are going to pit earlier. They have been doing shorter stints than Noir's. But I just think Noir's is he's definitely a pit stop behind Dan Robbo now. And he's nearly a pit stop behind Splash. So the Supra just cannot live with the Supra. Frequency doing a super job. Virtually from the back, his Frequency. Well, he was from the back because he missed qualifying. And he's come up through into fourth place so far in this race. And it's only Sidemax that can give him a race. And it doesn't look like they've got the pace for it. Frequency absolutely has gone above and beyond. He's doing a dead-on 2-minute lap times. Whereas Side or Sober Motorsport, he's in the 201s, touching the 202 now and again. Starting to look like it's brightening up again. Haza low on fuel. He's only 19 seconds ahead of Digi Blasphemy. And this is going to be a tight battle between these two when it comes down to it. Kevin is ahead of Evil Dragon, who's now pitted. Oh, and he's picked up 3-second penalty. Oh, the dreaded pit entry exit penalty. has taken its toll on Evil Dragon today, but he's got a set of softs on, and he's got himself a full tank of fuel and a can-do attitude. He's going to go for it. So Dan Robbo then 23.5 seconds ahead of it's not his teammate, but they are of the same team. They're of the same gene pool of alien. And Dane also saying, can you tell Noir to use the right foot, please? Noir, you got to use your right foot, bruv. You're not pushing it down hard enough or quick enough coming out the corners. But yeah, no, he's third place though, man. What do you want? Humble Guys are fourth at the moment in the championship. They're finishing ahead of Stasilla, which is gaining points on those, finishing way ahead of Full Throttle and way ahead of SBM. I'd take that, Dane. I would take that, my friend. I'll take that one to the bank, because you're going to be getting good points on your championship contenders. Unfortunately, the AXR boys and the AequepaX Racing boys are getting big points behind you as well, which is a worry. Frequency then in the Alfa Romeo, 8.5 seconds ahead of Sober, and that was the race for fourth place between Sober and Frequency. Haza possibly was in that race, but I think he's dropped out of it now. I think he picked up a bit of damage and had to make an unscheduled pit stop, and has put him out of that battle for fourth place. And it's Frequency, I think, has just run away with it. I don't think Sober in his GT, his Ford GT, can stay with the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo looking very much after its tyres. A lot better. He scrapes those walls, doesn't he? He's very tight on the walls. Is Frequency. Dan Robbo into the pits, but does it matter? Not, because he'll be back out ahead of everyone else. I don't know. Splash might get ahead of him. Noir's definitely will not. And now I thought he'd been caught up by Frequency. Who's behind Noir then there? What's that? I thought that was Frequency's car. Is that the Full Throttle Racing team? Oh my word. Full Throttle Racing, yeah, has just been lapped by third place as the leaders go into the pits. Oh, and Evil Dragon's also picked up a bit of damage from behind, as Kevin has got some damage at the front. Haza comes out of the pits behind Digital Blasphemy, but only 4.7 seconds, only half fills the car. Is that enough to get to the end? Is it half a tank? Surely not. Could be. We haven't seen that fuel is really going down drastically, but I wouldn't have thought half a tank would get you to the end of this race. He's going for a fastest lap stint, I reckon. Haza, he's short-filled it, and he's just going to go for a cane it, absolute blitz it, to try and get himself back up in the Sober and Frequency battle. Possibly. And Dane saying, we want to win. And Dane saying, I'm excited for Manos and Caliber race next. Ooh, interesting. Caliber, he hasn't been beaten yet so far in the first two rounds. So it'll be interesting. I don't think he's been beaten. I think he's won both races. Absolutely caned him. And at the moment, Dan Robber, I think we've had a different winner every time we've had a go. I'm trying to think who's been winning our races. Who won the first race? It might have been Mr. Slowly or someone like that. Or Frequency. I think Frequency might have won it. The first round. The second round, it might have been Noir. I'm not sure though. But Dan Robbo has absolutely stamped his authority all over this. Been in the pits. He's only half filled it, so that must be how much fuel you need to get left. And there's Splash. So Noir, it's not worked out for him. If it's half a tank of fuel to get to the end of this race, he's going to have to do a splash and dash near the end. Maybe that'll work out for him. If these guys' tyres are absolutely dashed to pieces, Noir, I don't know. I'm not sure Noir's strategy's worked out for him there. What's he going to do? Is he going to pit with them guys? No, he's staying out. He can see the back of Splash, but he's definitely not going to have enough fuel to get to the end. And I think Splash and Robbo have put in the fuel they need to get to the end. Kevin's in. Frequency, he's going to need to come into the pits pretty soon. And I think Sober will be in on this lap. He does. So we'll see. If he puts in half a tank of fuel, we'll probably say that's what they need to get to the end of the race. Digital Blast Me. Oh, he's picked up a bit of damage there, and he's got Haase for company. And Haase, just having his pit stop recently, is bringing the noise to Digital Blast Me, who's too far behind Sober, I think, to gain anything out of anything. And I think Haas is going to the end. So if he can get ahead of Sober, which he probably can't, it's probably too far behind. If he gets past Digital Blast Me, this is a great result for the trail braking motorsports guys. Is that what they're called? Trail braking racers in the Mazda. Haase, JL, and Anton Poika. And Haase then gets the job done. Oops, sorry. Oh, where did Digi go? Oh, Digi's gone into the pits. So Digital's gone into the pits. Sober's back out of the pits. He's gone full tanks. I think he's too much. I don't know. Oh, someone's on a yellow flag. Oh, it's full throttle racing. Their race is absolutely come to pieces today. And he was only 6 seconds behind Kevin, who's got a penalty for his pit exit or entry. And yeah, oh, what a shame for Evil Dragon that he dropped it when he did, because he was in a battle with Kevin. It's still there though, he's still there. Kevin's losing a lot of time. It's more than 3 seconds because it's a straight. There goes Frequency lapping Kevin. And where is Evil Dragon? It's down to 5 seconds. It's down to 3 seconds. He can see Kevin now. And this is the battle of the top of the championship at the back of the pack. Amazing. We've got Kevin in the Subaru with Full Throttle Racing in the Ford GT. They're chasing it down, 2.2 seconds between them. We think they're fueled and ready to go to the end. Evil Dragon has got a bit of damage, and SOE Kevin has been absolutely lightning quick this evening. So, you know, you've got to say it's a big job if Evil Dragon's going to catch up Kevin, but 2.7 seconds, you've got to say anything can happen. We've seen Kevin throw it off, we've seen him pick up damage. It could all go wrong for him yet. Digital Blast Me in 7th, he's got his pit stop done. Looks like he's put in 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So everyone's got a different strategy to the end with fuel wise. Haase, and we're on an hour and 11 minutes. So we've still got 19 minutes left of racing as Haase gets it through the chase. Comes down to Murray's Corner. So get lap 35 done and dusted. And like I said, someone predicted it's about 44 to 45 laps here. And the sun's come back out. The track will start getting warmer again. And that will be very helpful for our guys out there to get their tyres in that plush place. So Sober, he tanked right up. And I haven't got a clue. I don't think it needs a full tank. I think Frequency, he's full tanked it as well. Noirs hasn't been in yet. Does Splash and Dan have to make another pit stop? Dan's got fastest lap, just a 1:58.4. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Most of them have been doing 2-minuters, 2:01s, a majority of this race, but Dan Robbo's just banged out a 1:58.4. Splash doing a 1:59. I don't think anyone else has broken that. Oh yeah, Noir's got a 59 earlier in the race. On lap 31, Noirs, he can see Splash, but he knows he's got a pit. Frequency, you've got to say he's man of the race, really. Starting from the back, not managing to qualify, and he has absolutely blitzed this race to pull himself within, well, he's a 1:14 off of the lead. But he's done an absolutely cracking job as he heads up to finish a lap 35 and start lap 36. Could be just 4 more or so laps to go in this race. And Side Max Motorworks, they're going to get good points. 5th place is good points. That's going to jump them ahead of VRC and THG, I reckon, in the championship. So great work for Sober there in the Ford GT. Haase, quarter of a tank of fuel. Another pit stop, I reckon, is on the cards for him. And Digital Blasphemy is just about a pit stop behind him. Interesting. And just behind Digi is Kevin. Ooh, he hit a wall, but he got away with it. He didn't get the damage. And he's 8 seconds. He's pulling away from Evil Dragon, who's picked up some damage. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Evil Dragon in the chat later on say he didn't get his setup on board. Didn't get the setup in, and he's having to drive stock car. So it looks like it's just too much of a handful. Dan Robbo, meanwhile, 29-second lead on his teammate. Is he going to pay it back? Because we did see Splash pull over and let him through, and there goes Noir for his final stop. The question is, does Dan or Splash have to stop before the end of the race? And I think it's mute anyway. I don't think it matters. I think there's nothing Noir is going to be able to do about that. Question is, no, Frequency's too far behind Noir to make any challenge to that. The biggest real worry, concern, and now as Sober has picked up a bit of damage, Haase's 14 seconds behind him. Haase's did a 2-minute .8. Sober did a 2:02.1. And we've got around about 15, just over 15 minutes left of racing. It's a huge one for Haase to try and catch him before the end of the race, but it is doable. He's going 5/10 faster than he's gone again. Sober's picked up that. Sober's going into the pits. He's going to fix it. He's mad. He's mad. We've only got 15 minutes left of this race. You could carry that damage, surely. Surely he doesn't want to, though. Sober's into the pits. That's going to give away a position to Haase, and Digital is going to be thereabouts. Digi has picked up some damage, and Kevin is going to be closing the gap, and Sober loses the position. He's only fixing, I imagine. He's not going to change tyres. Well, he might change tyres. He has changed tyres. And he's not going to fuel up, but oh my God, Haase's up into 5th. Great stuff for trail braking guys. And they're chasing down AequepaX Racing. They're in a league of their own in this race. They're out there in the lead. So Haase is ahead of, but maybe Sober thinks a fresh set of tyres and a real can-do attitude will get him up against Haase. I'm not sure. We've got 14 minutes left of racing going on here, and it's Haase has to pit. Haase has to pit. Ah, there you go. So yeah, Sober quite comfortable to fix that damage because he knows Haase has got to pit as well. So, let's see, well done. So Dan Robbo is going to need to pit, I guess, and Splash. Noir's will not, but he's 31 seconds behind Splash. This is going to be tight. Noir has got to absolutely do a killer lap time, outlap and every lap after, to try and catch Splash out in case Splash has to pit, which it looks like he might have to do. He's just coming across a Digital Blasphemy, who's 31 seconds behind Sober, and he's 26 seconds ahead of Kevin as he tries to get out of the leader's way. And the leader doesn't lose any time to Noir's whatsoever, so not too bad at all. Dan Robbo, though, 31 seconds ahead of Splash, who's 32 seconds ahead of Noir's, who's 15 seconds ahead of Frequency. Frequency did a 2-minute .3 last time around. Noir's did a 2:13, but it was an outlap, so yeah, we wouldn't read too much into that. I think Noir's is pretty comfortable there, and I don't think Frequency's got a chance in hell of catching him. Haase, though, and they've said Haase has to pit before the end of this race, and that is possibly true, as his fuel is looking very low. Shadows join the room in preparation. He will be driving for Sidemax Motorsport, so he's going to be getting very excited. They've had an absolute blinder of a race, so he's going to be wanting to carry on the party, keep it going all the way. He's going to be waving his hand, thinking that now. So Haase's fuel is now flashing. He's going to be into the pits. That'll give Sidemax and Motorworks that position back. Digital Blasphemy in 7th. Not looking like much is going to change there. He's got Kevin chasing him down like a demon, but there is no chance in hell he's going to catch him unless Digi throws it right off the track. Evil Dragon, damage front, damage back. Tyre's not too good. He's not having a great day, is Evil Dragon. And Full Throttle, Mr. Slowly or Rotary are really going to have to pull out all the stops in race 2. And Dan Robbo pushing like hell. He doesn't need to, you know. He could ease off. We've only got 12 minutes left of the race. And Dan Robbo is done the impossible there. So I'm writing a number 1 next to his name. I'm writing a number 2 next to Splash's name, because I don't think any of those positions are going to change in the next 11 minutes. Splash is going to be in the pits, so is Dan Robbo. And Noirs is going to get himself 3rd, I think, in this race. Frequency looking good for 4th place. Hazard does go into the pits, which is going to give that position back to Sober. And there we go then, Frequency. Hazard into the pits then, so Sober moves back up into 5th place. And this is awesome. I'm so chuffed for the Sidemax Motorworks boys. This is really going to get them off of the bottom of that table in their Ford GT. And Haza is going to get out ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Really doesn't like that exit of the pits. And there goes Haza. No penalty though. Good for him. And he's looking solid there for a 6th place finish. Digital Blasphemy 18 seconds ahead of Kevin. Kevin's really Kevin's making new tracks. He's pushing hard, is Kevin. Pushing harder than he's ever pushed before. Dan Robbo is still out, but he's going to have to make a pit. Splash is in the pits, and we saw they were only 3 seconds apart when Splash came out last time. Splash being released from the pits. Noir is there getting by Kevin. And no, 11 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Sorry, it hasn't settled down yet. But it's definitely not as close as it was the last pit stop. And there, Noir, he's got a big job to do to try and catch Splash up if he wants that position. With 9 more minutes left of racing, he's 6 seconds behind Splash. That's quite close, isn't it? Frequency, 15 seconds behind Noir. 46 seconds ahead of Sober, who is 11 seconds ahead of Haza. Then Digital Blasphemy, he's looking good for 7th, does Digi, I'd say. So Digital Blasphemy, and there goes the leader into the pits. Kevin's looking good for 8th. And the Humble Guys, Evil Dragon, 9th. So the leader's into the pits, 58 seconds ahead of his closest competitor, who's in the same team but the opposite team. And Noir's 6 seconds behind Splash. He could do with Splash making a mistake, couldn't he? And there goes Dan Robbo back out. New boots, fresh fuel. He's bringing her on home, bringing that Mazda home for the AequepaX, the AXR guys. In the number 2 car, the Mazda. And what a job done by Dan Robbo. He looked special in Stint 2 last week, I believe. Not last week, 2 weeks ago at Spa. He really gained a lot of ground, like we saw Frequency do today. And pulled himself right up into like 4th or 5th or something like that from a big accident at the beginning. And he felt that he could take it to Caliber if he had the start that like Caliber did. But Dan Robbo comes in, Stint 1, absolutely smashes it for the AXR boys and gets himself a great win. We're 7 minutes away from the end of the race, and well, Noirs has closed in a little bit, Noir did a 2-minute .054 last time around. Splash did, well, it was an outlap, so it's hard to read. Frequency, he's got no worries there. I think that's a solid 4th. He's not likely to catch up with Noir's, and he's definitely not going to be caught up by Sober. Sober, he's got himself a good 11 seconds on Haza, and Haza, he's got a back marker ahead of him. Who's that, the Full Throttle guys? So he's got to get by him, but there isn't enough time, I believe, for him to catch up with Sober in this race. Digi, he's lost a lot of time to Kevin, but I think he's got enough of a buffer, as Kevin is absolutely slinging it at the scenery, trying to get that position from the VRC Motorsport boys. Which one are they? Yeah, VRC Motorsport. We lost the VRC Racing guys. Noxie. We've seen a few go. Noxie go. Saw Corey go. And Dane in the chat saying, catch him, Noir. He's trying his best. He's 5.5 seconds behind him. He's pushing like a bat out of hell. But Splash he knows what to do, doesn't he? Splash, he's a wily old racer. He knows he doesn't need to push it off the road to finish it ahead of Noir's, no matter how fast Noir's pushes that Supra. And 159.8 is pretty fast. Not as fast as Dan Robbo's 58.3. Where is he getting that from? Shocking. So it's just over 5 seconds. We've got just over 5 minutes left of racing. That's a second a minute for Noirs to try and find on Splash. And I don't think he's going to do it, but we'll see. Frequency then in 4th place. And he did a great job. Starting from the back, he's done a superb job. And Sidemax Racing, Motorworks, has done a super job. Put themselves back into this championship, I'd say. Going to get some hella points for 5th place. And get back in to the business. And Haza is 6th. With a great job as well, really. He dropped off at the beginning of the race. Is he being caught by anyone? Just the leaders. Just the leaders. Digi 20 seconds ahead of Kevin. And I imagine Digi's probably not going to be overly pleased about this race. He was up there, wasn't he, in 5th? And I don't know how he lost the positions to Haza. And, well, it's the 2 Finnish guys that have got by him, really. And I imagine he won't be overly pleased by that. But still, good points, 7th place. Ahead of the championship leader anyway. I'd be happy with that. And I know Kevin's had some adventures in the Subaru this evening. So, and as has Evil Dragon. And I imagine he has no love for that Ford GT or this track. So Dan Robbo just gets a lap on 6th place Haza. The other Mazda on his way to his win. Is this his first win this league? This championship? It could be, you know. And Dane saying, I believe in you, Noir. He's still believing out there, is Dane. Trying to will Noirs. It's 5 seconds. It's another 8/10 he's found. You can see him in the same picture. But there's only 3 more minutes of racing left. That's what, 2 laps at best to do it in, and he's lost a bit of time now from Splash. Splash probably starting to build it back up again as he sees Noir getting closer. Frequency, he's just bringing her on home now, though. He's just bringing her home. He got a 59.7, almost equaling his fastest lap so far in this race. So still pushing hard in 4th place, and so you should, because you never know what's going to happen. Sober, nearly 52 seconds behind Frequency, only 10 seconds. Haas has been slowly trying to draw Sober in, and I imagine, I mean, all Sober has to do is put one wheel wrong. We saw that earlier in the race. Was it with Full Throttle Racing when he got past Digital Blasphemy? Just put a wheel on the dirt and went whee, and that was it. His race just went downhill from there on, I think. Haase in 6th for the trail braking guys. Digital Blasphemy in 7th, just about to get lapped, and Kevin's got it down to 16 seconds, but I think the clock is against him. He's just not going to catch him up, and his tyres are going to give up as well. Evil Dragon just wants that checkered flag to come out. You got to say, fair play to him for cracking on. He hasn't crashed out. He's kept on going. Tried to learn something about the Ford GT in this race. As Dan Robbo brings it up around the hill. Is this going to be the last time? What are we looking at? I don't know. No, I think he's going to do another lap. I think he's going to get another lap in. And I think it was Shadow in the chat saying 44 to 45 laps. He weren't far wrong. It looks like maybe 46 laps. We'll see. It's tight. Yeah. No, he'll finish his 45th lap. Caliber joining the room now. Oh, he's getting excited for Stint 2. Don't forget to keep an eye out for Stint 2 stream. It'll be straight after this one. Well, straight after, you know, with some delay while they organise themselves. There's only a certain amount of room in the lobby, so as people leave, people shuffle in, and they will get the race going. Shadow saying Robbo is going to get 45. Oh, and Dane saying he's done amazing about Noir. They're all on low fuel now, and Shadow says Robbo's going to get 45 laps. Yeah, everyone else is going to get 44, so he was correct. So there goes Dan Robbo. Oh, 7 seconds left, 5 seconds left on the clock. He gets fastest lap, and he gets to go on a lap all by himself. As Splash brings it on home for second. Time has elapsed. And there we see Splash just putting a lap on the other Supra. There's a yellow flag ahead. I don't know who that'd be for. Oh, it's just Evil. Sorry, Evil. It's not just Evil, but Evil has had an evil night. He's had an absolute nightmare of a night. And Splash, not the kind of night you want to be streamed. The kind of race you want to be streamed. And here comes Splash to take second place in the first stint for AXR AequepaX Racing. And a great job done there for him. Digital Blasphemy finishing in 7th. Then Noir's gets 3rd. Take a boo, my son. Frequency. Is he ahead of Kevin? It's hard to tell. There's loads of them there. No, Kevin gets it. Evil Dragon gets it. Frequency comes home in 4th. Sober next on track. Oh, he's quite a way away, isn't he? He's got Haase 7 seconds behind him on this final lap. Scary stuff. And we've got all of those that have finished. Dan Robbo's on just a glory lap. As Sober, he's 8.3, so Haase must have lost a bit. Oh, Haase's had a knock on his rear suspension. So Sober brings Sidemax Motor Works home for a strong 5th place. Great drive. Great drive from some of those guys. Frequency coming up to 4th from last. Sober getting that red Ford GT into some strong points, which is going to kick off their championship. Great drive there from Sober. Super stuff. Haase was always trying to catch him, and he's just behind the leader, I think. So Dan Robbo getting a 58.0. Unbelievable lap time from Dan Robbo, and he comes over to take the win of Stint 1. Awesome stuff. And Haase crossing the line for 6th as well. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant race. I think Dan Robbo ran out of fuel on that last lap, in all fairness. Lucky then. Lucky Splash didn't get across the line. So as we look down the chat, we see Dane saying he could slow and take 44 lap. He could. He had enough time. Dane saying parade lap for Robbo, and it was a very fine one. He ran out of fuel. Adam saying, well done, Noir. Amazing pace from Robbo. That was unbelievable pace. And Dane saying, take a bow, Noir. Take a boo. Take a boo for Noir Anteras. Great drive. Great drive. That championship's going to be shaken up. Shaken up, I tell thee. Right, I have to get out the way now for the other boys. I wanted it to get to an end. I like to see their bum. As you see other people join in, they want us to leave. And I want the timer to run out so I can see... Oh, Fred Dude's racing in the next race. It's not, is it? It's not going to end. The timer must... How long you got the timer set for, Groot? I want to see Dan Robbo's bum. Stig saying, saw someone get themselves a free final lap and do donuts out of the last corner, lol. Yeah. Hey, well, you got no... Here we go. Are we going to see him, bum? No, it's blank. It's just going to go straight to the room. Oh, we didn't get to see him celebrate. Here we go. Way! Look at that butt. Oh, yeah. You can see the crevice. You don't usually get to see that bottom part. That's really... Oh, you've been doing your squats, haven't you, Robbo? Dan Robbo there. He's been doing some squats. Look how taut that backside is. Great stuff. Ooh, mama. That was worth hanging around for. Right, I'm going to get out of the way now because everyone wants to get into the group. So we'll still talk for a bit, but we'll just get out of their way as they sort themselves out. I'm not even saved the replay, but I don't have to. So, oh God, checking network environment. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it. Let's all check the network environment. I've finished now. I don't care about your network environment. Oh, God, give me strength with this blooming game. Look at this. My life, I'm 45. I haven't got time for this. My life's too short. I've got to live to the fullest. How can you... A racing game with such slow loading times. You arse. Sorry, Groot. I'm sorry. I told you I was going to try and keep it under control, but this game is so... I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at anything. I haven't got any content. I've got now to show you. They're all replays, aren't they? Are they all replays? Is there a single picture there? Look at the Dodge Viper for a bit. Go full screen. Oh, no. So, yes, what a cracking race. Dodge Viper aren't even in this race. It's the first thing I could find that you can look at whilst we do the outro. Right then, looking in the chats then. I read that. Dane saying, congratulations, everyone. And Dane saying, Manos versus Caliber. Yeah, check out Stint 2, people. Because, yes, you'll there's going to be some interesting racing between this so-called Manos and Caliper. I don't even know Manos is the third driver for. Someone's added a third driver without me. It's not on my sheet. But it's going to be a stonker. It's going to be cracking. So check out for Stint 2. So... rounding this out, we had a great race here. Dan Robbo finished first for the AXR boys with Splash bringing it in second for the AequepaX Racing guys. Third was Noir for the Humble guys, Racing Team Holland. And then fourth was Frequency for Stasilla Racing. Coming home in fifth in the end was Sober for Side Max Motorworks. Sixth for Haza for Trail Breaking Racers. Seventh, Digital Blasphemy for VRC Motorsports. Then in eighth, we had Kevin for SBM featuring SOE in the Subaru. And ninth, Evil Dragon for Full Throttle Racing. And we lost Noxie and Corey along the way. And that was a beautiful, beautiful piece of racing there. Thank you guys for joining me here in this stint. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and do all the things that YouTube get yourself all excited about. Oh, Manos is THG344. Superb. And Dane saying, I bought out a new livery. Haha. And Stig saying, number 44. I see. Oh, it's Waterskin and EP3. Oh, they must have added a third driver in the... Oh, Sonam. And Stig's ready for a double stint in the booth. Why? Are you not there yet? Oh, you can't get in the room? Well, I'm meant to be picking my missus up later, but she can wait. I don't know. Well, I'm wrapping up, and we'll see if I'm doing a double stint. I think either Stiggs can't be bothered. This is your track, innit? This is probably your highlight of the weekend you've been looking for. I mean, highlight of the season. You've been looking forward to this one. Okay then, guys. Thanks for joining us here at AequepaX Racing. Peace and love. I was your broadcaster commentator. Do I do silly names on it? I know I do silly names on my own thing, on the VRC thing, but I didn't know if I did silly names on here. Have I done silly names at the beginning of this season on the first 2 rounds, or did I just play it straight? Oh, I don't know. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Justin Hermouth. Thank you for joining us here at AequepaX Racing. Peace and love. Oh, hang on, more chat. Stig saying Le Mans hasn't happened yet. Oh, is that your highlight? Oh, I hate dreary Le Mans. And Dane saying, best commentator is Stiggs. You're right. Well done. He's loads better than me. Don't give it all that. I watched Stint too, and he's fantastic. He is brilliant. He knows what he's talking about. I guess he knows. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I was just in her mouth, and I will see you. Is it next week? Hang on. I'm so good at Discord lately. I can get this quick. Ooh, I'm already into the word part. Here we go. October 29th was Mount Panorama. No, November 19th, Tokyo Expressway South for 4 hours. You got a long wait. So enjoy Stint 2, because it's going to be a while until we race again. All right, guys. I've had fun. Peace and love. Peace and love. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down.